I'm going to ask the question about the Cowboys, and it's an infused way of asking it. Okay. I'm just coming straight through the front door with you. But I think it's an appropriate way to ask is what's missing? What is missing with the Cowboys?
Yeah, so that is the $1 million question that I get asked, and I honestly don't know. There was a time where I thought maybe I did know, but I think when you take a year like this, for instance, and they had a great year, and they are as talented as any team in football, and as someone who gets a chance to see a lot of these teams because of the Thursday night schedule and the Sunday package, that I'd put their roster up against anyone's, and they played great. They didn't play as well down the stretch, and then you go into the postseason and you just don't play your best football. But this isn't the first time that that's happened. They've been the number one seed in other years and failed to get out of the first round. And so what is keeping it's hard to imagine. In a league, when you see teams like Cincinnati and like Jacksonville a few years ago and others that you can point to, and yet for the Cowboys for 25 years, they haven't even made it to an NFC championship game. It's hard to believe because when you look at their regular season record over the last 10 or 15 years, they're one of the best in the league as far as their winning percentage. So I don't know. I really don't know, but I do know this. Heartbreaking for that organization and for Jerry Jones to have the team that they had and pretty healthy when they went into the postseason and not to get out of the first round, really defeating. And it makes for a long offseason, makes for another long season in 22. Because this is a team, fairly or unfairly, they're going to be judged on what they do in the postseason.
Well, I mean, again, we have Dak coming in here in about an hour, and clearly he had a remarkable season based on the way his previous season ended. But the way the game ended, it just seems like can you point the finger at the coaching staff? Do you think here, or is it something that's unfair to do because circumstances?
Yeah, I think it's unfair. I think that as far as the last play goes, I mean, there's a lot of opinions on that, of course. And I know that Mike McCarthy has defended the decision. And I don't necessarily disagree with the call. But when you run that play, you 100% have to get off another play into the end zone. Mm-hmm. And when that doesn't happen, for whatever reason, if it was the officiating, if it was that Dak went too far or when he ran, it doesn't matter. In that sense, then it was a bad call. And I think you have to just own up to that. If you don't get a shot into the end zone when you're already in a position to take a shot into the end zone. But it's tough. It's really tough. But I don't blame the coaching. I think that's the easy out. I think that's what people do. But no, I think overall, I think they're a very well coached team. And just didn't happen for him.
Well, I guess, and the good thing is that everybody's back on the coaching staff, right? That Kellen Moore didn't get a gig, and Dan Quinn was shopping around and then came back. Yeah. And then I don't, you might have missed it while you were making your beer and launching your egg lager, available in Texas and hopefully everywhere else soon. That there was there you go, right there, right next to you. That there was an article on DallasCowboys.com of Jerry flat out talking about Dan Quinn coming back and he's head coaching material, and Sean Payton was on the staff before and everybody knew at the time that he could be a head coach, and Jason Garrett, and he's talking about Dan Quinn being head coaching material. And well, what about Mike McCarthy? And his answer was, well, Mike knows that someday he won't be the Dallas Cowboys head coach. And it's just like,
or does he?
No, I guess he does. What's up with that? I mean, that sounds like, I don't understand that one. Do you?
Yeah, what we do know is this, that Jerry is really smart. I mean, he's a really smart guy. And so I don't, and at times, as we know, sometimes he'll shoot from the hip. But I think that, in those comments, I think he had time to really reflect and know what he wanted to convey and how he wanted to say it. So for there not to be more support, there had to be a reason behind that. Yeah. Is that to, warm up the seat a little bit and motivate? I don't know, but a little unconventional.
It definitely is. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.